Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called When Humans Reverse Engineer, written by Slow AD 2584. The strange device materialized on the test bench. It looked like a part of a climate control condenser, duct-taped to the very large capacitors, with heavy gauge cables leading off to exposed conductor dead ends. All right, what's this then? Ah, yes. This one is very interesting and, a bit dangerous. Careful! Don't let those two conductors touch each other. What's the big deal? It's not plugged into anything. It doesn't need to be. It's a power generator, and it's always on. They both stared at the scratch built, cold, inert pile of junk scrap parts on the bench. But how? That's what we are commissioned to find out. Shall we begin? Scans of the device soon revealed the source of the power generated. No, my, well, that is clever. You see right here that condenser, which was originally designed to cool the heat exchanger, has been reversed, biased, so as to not cool something else, but to cool itself, with this little coil in there. But why? I don't get it. The capacitors, from some old ship gun carriage, I imagine, draws the heat energy out of the coil as electrical energy. Oh, those are hungry capacitors. Always so aggressive for input power to store, but, As they connected an electrical load to the scrap device, power poured from the leads to precisely match the resistive load. Look at that, 400 gigawatt hours. Steady. Crank up the load, still 400 gigawatts. Power still steady, crank it, as high as it can go. As the power roared out the device, thrumming the lab's bulkheads and straining the test bench systems, the power remained steady. Enough output to be exactly 400 gigawatts. The power draw was shut down due to safety overrides. The scrap device wasn't even warm. Okay, now that is incredible. It's defying the laws of physics. What gives? Let's look deeper. The more intense scans revealed engineered nature of the heatsink condenser. Ah, look here. This condenser, advanced exotic tech, sucks the heat energy out of space. That's how it functions. But the humans have cross-wired the reversal, the cascade inversion, to a negative value so that it can... hold on. I think I can almost see it. Oh, wow! You're kidding me. What? It's, I believe that what we have here is a functional zero-point energy refusal device. Hey, what device? How did you get your doctorate without knowing this zero-point energy? Yeah, I know what that is. And the absolute zero thing, there is never exactly zero energy. Quantum uncertainty prevents it. Right, so the condenser tries to make the little coil in there absolute zero. But the zero-point energy prevents it, yeah? So, as the condenser tries its best to get to zero, the gun capacitors try to suck up the remaining power away. Oh, I think I get it now. As everything tries to take away all of the energy, the zero-point energy replaces it to keep it non-zero. And when the draw on the capacitor pulls more and more energy out at greater rates, more and more energy replaces it to keep it from ever getting to zero. Oh, wow. Zero-point energy refusal. The universe won't let it reach zero no matter how much you crank up the power drain. Scalable up to, well, if not infinity, it's certainly the Roche limits. I thought there was only a theoretical device. And here it is, right in front of us. And the humans on some random colony world built this from common industrial scrap? It appears so. We need to alert the Galactic High Security to ban humans from getting a hold of any more of our stuff, even scrap parts. It's just too dangerous. The way they can cobble together things, even with their limited understanding of any of it, it's just, too much to have to deal with. When all things are said and done, the ubiquitous superconductors, the monopole capacitors, the causal shunts and everything. I don't mean to be dramatic here, but... Go on, just say it. I think we might all be doomed. End of story. Story number 2. The Human Diet, written by Catfish21 SM. Alright, class, this should be an easy one for you. Can anyone tell me which sapient species has the most resistant metabolism amongst the Galactic Union? Yes, Ulgaric.
I believe it's the humans.
Correct. Now, which species has the highest food-related death rate amongst the Galactic Union species? Oh yes, Ulgaric again.
Isn't that the humans again?
Yes, perfect. Can anyone tell me why this apparent contradiction exists?
It's because they aren't afraid of anything.
Not exactly. Humans purposefully avoid food that they know will kill them. To explain properly, we need to go back to the evolutionary past. First of all, humans evolved from an ape-like species, one that lived in a dense jungle, where they primarily fed on plants. However, due to natural changes in their planet's ecology, that jungle eventually became savanna, and even a desert. When this happened, the humans' primary food source disappeared, and they had to adapt. The most abundant food source around was other animals, so they eventually began transitioning to a predatory species. However, at the same time they began spreading out from their natural environment, they had to compete with the new, better predators. Hunting was still a viable option for gathering food. However, it was safer for them to eat plants in their surroundings. As with on many worlds, some plants evolved to produce delicious and nutritious fruits in order to spread their seeds, while others evolved poisons to protect themselves. Unlike other worlds, however, a Category 9 Deathworld involves some interesting differences. Most plants on a human world would have some degree of poison. This is because they want to attract certain animals while deterring others. Many of these can look very similar as well, and even be within the same family. For example, one of the humans' favorite foods, one they call tomatoes, is in the same family of plants as and also closely resembles the nightshade, one of the deadliest species of plants on the planet for humans. In fact, humans actually eat many plants that could be considered deadly if they are not prepared correctly, and they also grow breeds of plants that previous ancestors would have been considered deadly. But through selective breeding and genetic manipulation, they are now edible. There are certain plants that humans grow specifically for their poisons. A species of plant known as the pepper is a wonderful example that many of you have heard of. Because of the human struggles to safely find food in many cases, it was safer for them to try a variety of foods and learn which one kills and which one don't through trial and error than it was to try and compete with powerful predators. And so they became an omnivorous species capable of consuming various plants and animals. This led them to evolve a digestive system capable of handling many foods that would kill other animals on their planet. For example, one of their favorite pets are called dogs, but even now, dogs are easily killed by one of the humans' favorite foods, the grape. A human can eat dozens of these small fruits in a single setting, but a single one of them is enough to be fatal even for larger varieties of their dog companions. The humans love food because they were always stressed for food in their past, and they love trying new foods. You may have heard of the popular human saying, "I'll try anything once." This is where that saying comes from. This is why humans have these seemingly contradictory traits. They have adapted to try anything once, which has also led them to adapt a very strong resistance to many things that would kill other species. This, however, also leads them to try things that would kill them. Humans are famous for their stupidity when it comes to eating food. They get this stereotype against them because of a certain instance in which more than 100 humans died over the course of one of their lifetimes just to find the one gytroxian food that will not kill them. This may seem irrational to us. However, you should also remember the famous instance of planet 0635789946, known as HFY, or as the humans like to call it, Home Away from Home, in which a large transport ship with more than 50 different species crashed. The humans were the only survivors, not only surviving, but building a large settlement and setting up a successful colony with no outside help. By the time they were discovered, several generations had passed, and they had only the stories of their ancestors coming from the stars. However, they had farms with hundreds of crops in an area where most of the plants in their surroundings would have killed them had they eaten them too much. Furthermore, the vast majority of their crops were native to that planet. Very few were food plants that the humans gathered from the ship. In short, class, the humans' ability and willingness to eat anything and everything should not be underestimated as stupidity, but a very successful survival trait. Though it should also be stressed that this is not recommended for other species, as we simply do not have the capability to digest such a variety in foods, which is why the vast majority of human foods are banned for consumption by the wider galaxy. End of story. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and patrons: Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnholtz, Bushmaster 177, Lord Azrakal, Ambrose Cattell, Quantum Wednesday, Trixoon WRE, and Blueberry Cat. Thank you very much for the support. It is super appreciated.